Every 60 seconds, someone in the world suffers a stroke, and after the age of 65, the odds more than double. Yet, in a quiet village in Okinawa, Japan, people routinely live beyond 100, staying alert, mobile, and mentally sharp. How is that possible? Most assume stroke is inevitable with aging, a natural toll of time. But what if it isn't? What if hidden, everyday choices, the kind we barely notice, are silently increasing our risk? Many older adults believe that reaching retirement means slowing down and letting nature take its course. But in Japan, centenarians show a radically different picture of aging. They don't avoid medicine, nor do they rely solely on it. Instead, they've shaped their daily lives around small habits that quietly protect the brain and blood vessels. While much of the world focuses on medications and high-tech diagnostics, these elders rely on ancient wisdom, restraint, connection, balance, and purpose. The truth is, stroke rarely arrives out of nowhere. It builds over years, fueled by lifestyle patterns that seem harmless. The pinch of extra salt on a meal, another day spent sitting, a little more food than necessary, or weeks without real conversation. These things seem ordinary. Yet to the arteries in your brain, they are warnings whispered every day. In Japan, where the average person once faced one of the world's highest stroke rates, entire communities transformed their habits. And within decades, stroke mortality dropped dramatically. That transformation holds lessons for anyone over 65. Understanding what the Japanese learned isn't about copying a culture, but discovering the principles behind their choices. Centenarians in Japan aren't lucky exceptions. They are living evidence that lifestyle can rewrite destiny. They remind us that prevention doesn't happen in hospitals. It happens in kitchens, dining tables, gardens, and morning routines. In this journey, we'll uncover the habits these centenarians deliberately avoid. We'll learn why salt, silence, and stillness can be dangerous allies of stroke, and how something as simple as a shared meal or mindful movement can serve as daily medicine. Each section will connect ancient practices to modern science, showing exactly how they protect the heart, brain, and blood flow that sustain independence after 65. Before diving into those habits, it's worth pausing to understand the Japanese context. Why Japan? Because this nation not only added years to life, but life to years. Their approach to aging, deeply rooted in culture and supported by decades of research, provides one of the clearest models of stroke prevention through everyday behavior. So as we begin, imagine your own daily routine. The meals you eat, the hours you sit, the moments of stress or calm that shape your days. Within those simple patterns lie both danger and opportunity. And the people of Japan, living quietly beyond 100, have already shown which path leads to resilience and which leads to risk. Japan is more than a country of long life. It's a living laboratory of how culture shapes health. For decades, researchers have studied its aging population to understand why strokes have declined so sharply, while longevity continues to rise. In the mid-20th century, Japan had one of the world's highest stroke mortality rates. By changing everyday habits, reducing salt, increasing vegetables and fish, and maintaining active lifestyles, the nation achieved one of the most dramatic public health reversals in history. These changes didn't come from hospitals or expensive technologies. They came from homes, neighborhoods, and shared wisdom passed between generations. Older Japanese adults became experts in prevention, not because they feared disease, but because they valued balance. For them, health isn't a fight against aging, it's harmony with it. The same way they cultivate gardens, they cultivate their own bodies, through rhythm, moderation, and connection. The Hisayama study, one of Japan's longest-running health investigations, offers strong evidence for this approach. Tracking residents over decades, scientists found that the drop in stroke rates directly mirrored changes in diet, movement, and blood pressure control. Another landmark project, the Okinawa Centenarian study, revealed that elders who maintained light daily activity, social ties, and moderate eating habits had far fewer cardiovascular events than their Western counterparts. Together, these findings prove that stroke prevention begins long before a crisis, in the smallest daily decisions. The contrast with common Western beliefs is striking. Many older adults assume that health depends mainly on doctors and medication. The Japanese, however, approach it differently. The goal isn't simply to treat disease, but to prevent imbalance. They live by quiet rules, eating slowly, rising early, walking daily, sharing meals, that seem ordinary, but carry profound biological power. These rituals maintain blood pressure stability, reduce inflammation, and sustain circulation. For those over 65, this insight is vital. Stroke is often seen as sudden, but it's a long-term consequence of hidden habits. The Japanese model shows that by observing and adjusting those habits, risk can be dramatically reduced. Their philosophy reframes aging from decline into a season of awareness and care. Understanding this context sets the stage for everything ahead. The habits we'll explore are not random tips. They are pillars supported by decades of research and cultural consistency. Each represents a practical lesson from people who not only live longer, but thrive longer. So as we prepare to uncover the first hidden danger, a habit that almost everyone overlooks yet directly fuels hypertension and stroke, remember this: longevity isn't a mystery. It's a series of deliberate choices, repeated daily, guided by respect for balance. And in Japan, those choices have rewritten what aging can mean. The first and perhaps most underestimated danger that Japanese centenarians have learned to avoid is hidden salt. Salt itself is not the enemy. The human body needs it for nerve and muscle function. But too much of it quietly raises blood pressure, stiffens arteries, and sets the stage for a stroke. The problem isn't the pinch you add at the table. It's the invisible sodium packed into sauces, pickles, soups, and processed foods that sneak into daily meals. For many years, Japan faced a national crisis of hypertension because of its love for salty flavors. Traditional diets once included miso soup, soy sauce, and pickled vegetables with nearly every meal. By the 1960s, this cultural preference contributed to soaring stroke rates. But when public health campaigns began encouraging lower sodium intake, something remarkable happened. Within decades, stroke deaths plummeted. It was proof that small, consistent changes could alter the nation's destiny. Centenarians in Japan grew up during this transformation. Today, they consciously keep their salt intake low, not by giving up taste, but by relying on natural flavor from herbs, dashi broth, and fermented foods that don't require excess sodium. They understand that blood pressure isn't just a number. It's a signal of how well their lifestyle aligns with balance. Maintaining that balance means avoiding what once felt harmless: an extra spoon of soy sauce, a handful of salted snacks, or a ready-made soup loaded with sodium. What makes this lesson so important for those over 65 is how silent the damage can be. High blood pressure rarely causes symptoms until it's too late. A person can feel fine while their arteries slowly weaken under constant pressure. This is why the Japanese government's focus on salt reduction became one of the most successful public health strategies in the world. It targeted an invisible threat with awareness and discipline. Studies show that even reducing salt by a single gram per day can lower stroke risk significantly. For older adults, this means more than living longer. It means maintaining independence, memory, and clarity. Centenarians in Japan prove that avoiding excess salt is not deprivation, it's empowerment. Their meals are vibrant, colorful, and satisfying because flavor comes from freshness, not from the salt shaker. So when we think about protecting the brain after 65, the first defense isn't a pill, it's what's on the plate. Reading labels, cooking at home, and using natural seasonings can quietly build a shield against the most common cause of stroke: uncontrolled hypertension. As we move forward, one pattern will become clear. The Japanese secret to longevity isn't about perfection, but attention, noticing the small, everyday habits that either heal or harm. And after learning how they conquered hidden salt, the next discovery reveals how something just as ordinary, sitting still, can be equally dangerous. Modern life invites stillness. After retirement, many people move less, rest more, and believe they've earned a slower pace. Yet this comfort often hides a silent danger. Prolonged sitting weakens circulation, reduces oxygen flow to the brain, and increases the risk of blood clots, one of the main triggers of stroke. The Japanese centenarians who remain active into their 90s and beyond reveal a powerful truth. Movement is not just exercise, it is medicine. In Japan, older adults rarely separate movement from daily living. They garden, clean, cook, and walk to the market. These activities may appear minor, but they maintain muscle tone, joint flexibility, and heart function. Scientists studying long-lived populations discovered that Japanese elders spend far less time sitting than seniors in most Western countries. This difference, though small in hours, is monumental in impact. Regular movement helps keep arteries supple, regulates blood pressure, and prevents the buildup of fat in blood vessels, all crucial defenses against stroke. Unlike structured workouts that require motivation, Japanese elders integrate movement naturally. They call it undo no seikatsu, a life of movement. It might mean sweeping the front steps, tending to bonsai, or cycling to a neighbor's house. Each act becomes a quiet form of therapy, protecting both body and brain. The Hisayama study found that participants who walked or moved lightly for at least 30 minutes a day had far lower rates of stroke and heart disease, even when their diets and genetics varied. For those over 65, this principle is both simple and transformative. You don't need a gym membership or complex routines. What matters is consistency, the daily rhythm of gentle, purposeful motion. The Japanese demonstrate that the body thrives when movement feels natural and joyful. The key isn't intensity, it's continuity. Even short walks or light stretches every hour can significantly reduce stroke risk by improving blood flow and reducing inflammation. Imagine a 90-year-old woman in Okinawa, hanging laundry under the sun, laughing with her neighbor. Her heart rate rises slightly, her muscles engage, and her mood lifts. She's not exercising, she's living. That is the essence of Japanese longevity, movement woven seamlessly into life. For many older adults elsewhere, the challenge isn't the lack of knowledge, but the lack of routine. Television, long meals, or digital distractions create hours of immobility that slowly erode vascular health. The Japanese habit of frequent, mindful motion stands as an antidote to this modern stillness. The lesson is clear. The human body is designed to move. And when it does, regularly and lightly, it safeguards the brain from the very conditions that cause stroke. As we continue, the next habit reveals another hidden danger, one that affects not just the body but the heart and mind alike, the quiet isolation that too many seniors face in their later years. Isolation is one of the most underestimated health threats after 65. It doesn't cause pain or fever, yet its impact on the heart, brain, and immune system rivals that of chronic illness. Studies show that loneliness increases the risk of stroke and heart disease by up to 30%. For Japanese centenarians, this danger is not just understood, it's actively prevented through a deeply rooted cultural practice of connection known as moai. A moai is a lifelong social circle, formed in childhood and carried into old age. Members meet regularly, share meals, support each other financially or emotionally, and celebrate life's milestones together. This sense of belonging provides more than companionship. It creates purpose and accountability. In Okinawa, where centenarians are most concentrated, these networks have helped elders remain mentally sharp, emotionally stable, and physically active far beyond what statistics would predict. Contrast this with many modern societies, where older adults often live alone or move into care facilities separated from friends and family. The result is a gradual disconnection from meaningful interaction, the kind that keeps the brain stimulated and the body engaged. In Japan, elders are rarely isolated, whether through community gardening, traditional dance, or shared tea rituals. Daily connection is a built-in part of life. Scientific evidence supports what tradition has long taught. Social engagement lowers stress hormones like cortisol and maintains healthy blood pressure. Emotional stability leads to better sleep, improved immune function, and lower rates of depression. All indirect, yet powerful protections against stroke. A warm conversation can literally improve circulation, while chronic loneliness thickens the blood and increases inflammatory markers that damage arteries. For those over 65, Cultivating connection is not just emotional hygiene, it's cardiovascular protection. The Japanese show that community can be a form of medicine, one that no prescription can replace. Even simple actions, calling a friend daily, joining a local class, volunteering, or sharing meals with neighbors, can replicate the same protective effects found in Okinawa's moai. Centenarians often describe their friendships as a reason to wake up. This sense of belonging aligns closely with the concept of Ikigai, the purpose of living. Together, they create a feedback loop of vitality. Purpose inspires connection, and connection strengthens purpose. For many seniors elsewhere, rediscovering that sense of community may seem daunting. But the lesson from Japan is not about geography, it's about intention. The smallest effort to reach out can reverse years of quiet isolation. The hidden danger of loneliness is that it masquerades as comfort. Staying home feels safe, predictable, easy. Yet each quiet day spent alone can nudge blood pressure higher and weaken the brain's resilience. Japanese elders have learned to do the opposite, to stay open, curious, and socially alive. And while connection nourishes the spirit, another daily choice nourishes the body itself, the kind of food that fuels or harms the heart and brain. Food is memory, comfort, and culture. But after 65, it also becomes medicine or poison. In Japan, the centenarians of Okinawa and Honshu have long understood that what's on the plate determines how long and how well they live. Their meals are not only low in calories but rich in nutrients designed to protect blood vessels and maintain steady blood flow to the brain. This balance between nourishment and restraint is one of the cornerstones of stroke prevention in later life. For much of the 20th century, Japanese diets were simple: vegetables, legumes, seaweed, and modest amounts of fish. Red meat, sugar, and processed fats were rare. These foods provided essential antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and fiber, nutrients proven to reduce inflammation and maintain arterial elasticity. As Japan modernized, however, Western-style eating patterns began to appear, bringing with them higher salt, fat, and sugar levels. Public health experts quickly noticed that stroke and heart disease rates rose wherever traditional diets declined. Centenarians who stayed faithful to the old ways reaped the rewards. They typically eat smaller portions, emphasizing variety over volume. Meals often include fermented foods such as miso, natto, or pickled vegetables that support gut health and reduce inflammation. Green tea replaces sugary drinks, and desserts are small, sometimes just a slice of fruit. The guiding principle is not strict dieting, but mindful enjoyment, eating with awareness and gratitude. Science has confirmed what these elders have practiced intuitively. Diets rich in vegetables and fish, low in processed foods, and moderate in calories are consistently linked to reduced stroke risk. The omega-3s in fish help prevent blood clots. Antioxidants in green vegetables protect the lining of arteries, and fiber helps regulate cholesterol. Together, these elements create a natural barrier against the vascular damage that leads to stroke. For older adults elsewhere, the lesson is both practical and hopeful. You don't need exotic ingredients or complex recipes. A few simple adjustments, replacing processed meats with fish, using olive or sesame oil instead of butter, adding a handful of greens to each meal, can dramatically improve vascular health. What matters most is consistency. The Japanese longevity diet isn't a temporary plan. It's a lifelong rhythm of moderation and variety. One habit many centenarians mention is the act of stopping before full. They eat slowly, savoring each bite, and leave the table slightly satisfied but never stuffed. This gentle restraint keeps metabolism stable and prevents spikes in blood pressure. It's a lesson modern science echoes. Overeating, even healthy food, strains the cardiovascular system. The hidden danger for seniors today is convenience: fast food, ready meals, and sugary snacks disguised as energy products. They save time, but steal years. The Japanese way reminds us that time spent preparing and sharing food is an investment in longevity. And while diet shapes the internal body, another equally crucial habit protects from the outside: the discipline of awareness. Knowing your numbers, especially blood pressure, before they become silent threats. Among all the risk factors for stroke, High blood pressure stands as the most powerful and the most silent. It creeps in quietly, often without symptoms, damaging arteries day after day until one small vessel in the brain finally gives way. Many people over 65 assume that feeling fine means being healthy, but Japanese centenarians know better. Their secret lies in vigilance, in the habit of checking blood pressure regularly and treating it as a daily conversation with the body rather than a medical chore. In the Okinawa Centenarian study, researchers found that even among those living past 100, hypertension remained a decisive factor in determining who suffered strokes and who did not. Those who maintained awareness, adjusted their salt intake, stayed active, and followed their doctor's advice had far better outcomes. The study's message was clear. Longevity isn't luck, it's literacy, the ability to understand your body's signals and act on them before damage occurs. This awareness stems from a broader cultural mindset in Japan. Health is seen as a shared responsibility between individuals, families, and the community. Local clinics organize free screenings. Neighbors remind one another to get checkups. Pharmacies display public blood pressure monitors. For Japanese elders, knowing their numbers is as routine as checking the weather. This quiet accountability prevents countless strokes that elsewhere strike without warning. In contrast, many seniors around the world postpone doctor visits until something feels wrong. But hypertension rarely announces itself. It causes no pain, no dizziness, no fatigue, until the arteries have already suffered years of strain. That's why Japanese health authorities encourage older adults to track their pressure, even when they feel perfectly well. A few minutes each week can reveal trends that, if ignored, might lead to tragedy. For those seeking practical guidance, the principle is straightforward. Keep a simple record of your blood pressure readings, note any changes, and adjust habits accordingly. Combine that awareness with the earlier lessons. Eat less salt, move daily, and maintain connection. These small acts compound, forming a shield against one of aging's deadliest risks. Centenarians in Japan often describe this vigilance as respect for the vessel. The vessel is both the body and the metaphor for life itself, fragile yet resilient when cared for. They treat prevention not as anxiety but as gratitude for still being here, still able to walk, think, and love. Modern research supports their wisdom. Consistent blood pressure control after 65 can cut the risk of stroke by nearly half. Yet what's most remarkable is how naturally the Japanese integrate this awareness into life, without obsession or fear. And just as they avoid the extremes of neglect, they also avoid the opposite danger, overindulgence. The next lesson unveils how an ancient rule of eating, Hara Hachi Bu, helps them protect the heart and brain through one simple act of moderation. In the small island communities of Japan, there is a saying passed down through generations: Hara Hachi Bu, eat until you are 80% full. This gentle phrase carries a profound physiological truth. Overeating, even when the food is healthy, forces the body into a state of stress. It spikes blood sugar, raises blood pressure, and thickens the blood, all of which quietly increase the risk of stroke. Centenarians in Okinawa have lived by this rule for decades, turning restraint into a form of daily medicine. The practice of Hara Hachi Bu is not about dieting or denial. It is about mindfulness, about listening to the body's signals and stopping before hunger turns into indulgence. Scientists studying Japanese centenarians discovered that this habit leads to lower body weight, stable metabolism, and reduced inflammation. These benefits translate directly into healthier blood vessels and better brain circulation, two cornerstones of stroke prevention. In Western cultures, fullness is often equated with satisfaction, but the Japanese associate lightness with vitality. Meals are enjoyed slowly, with gratitude, allowing the brain time to register satiety. This mindful pace naturally reduces caloric intake by about 20%, enough to prevent the metabolic strain that accelerates vascular aging. Over time, the arteries remain more flexible, the heart works less intensely, and blood pressure stays within a healthy range. Hara Hachi Bu also reinforces another cultural value: respect for food. Leaving a small space in the stomach symbolizes appreciation for the meal and awareness of one's limits. It reflects a deep harmony between physical and emotional well-being. Centenarians often describe feeling energetic, not heavy, after meals, a balance that allows them to stay active and alert even in advanced age. Modern research confirms that moderate calorie restriction can extend lifespan and reduce the risk of stroke, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. But the brilliance of Hara Hachi Bu lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require counting calories or following trends. It's an inner discipline, one that anyone can adopt at any age. Eat slowly, serve smaller portions, pause before seconds, and end the meal feeling satisfied but not stuffed. For seniors, this habit can transform digestion, energy, and sleep. It eases the body's workload, prevents post-meal blood pressure spikes, and maintains healthy circulation. It's a quiet safeguard that costs nothing yet pays enormous dividends in longevity. When asked about their secret to long life, Okinawan elders often smile and say, "We stop eating when we are still a little hungry." Their simplicity hides great wisdom. Moderation is a path to balance, balance is a path to health. And while food nourishes the body, the mind also hungers, not for calories, but for purpose. The next lesson explores how the Japanese concept of Ikigai, the reason for living, shields both heart and brain from the wear of time. Longevity in Japan isn't measured only in years lived, but in purpose sustained. Among the nation's centenarians, a word appears again and again: Ikigai, a reason to live. It's not a grand ambition or lifelong project. It's the quiet sense that life still has meaning each day. Science now recognizes what this cultural wisdom has long understood. Emotional well-being and mental purpose directly protect the body, lowering the risk of stroke and other age-related diseases. After 65, many people experience a loss of direction. Retirement, children moving away, friends passing on. This void can lead to chronic stress, depression, or apathy. Physiologically, these emotions raise cortisol and adrenaline levels, constricting blood vessels and elevating blood pressure. Over time, the brain's vascular system weakens, increasing stroke risk. But Japanese elders often avoid this spiral by nurturing Ikigai, the daily reasons to wake up, move, and connect. For some, Ikigai means tending a garden or teaching grandchildren traditional crafts. For others, it's morning walks with neighbors, calligraphy, or preparing tea with precision and grace. These small rituals provide rhythm and meaning, reducing loneliness and stabilizing mood. Studies in Japan and beyond show that seniors with a strong sense of purpose live longer and are significantly less likely to suffer strokes or heart attacks. The connection between mind and vessel is undeniable. Peace of mind literally keeps the arteries open. In Okinawa, centenarians often speak of Ikigai as a shared force, not an individual pursuit. Community activities, volunteer work, and intergenerational gatherings ensure that even the oldest members contribute something meaningful. Feeling needed keeps their minds sharp and their spirits resilient. In contrast, isolation and aimlessness, so common in many aging societies, quietly erode health. The body follows the mind's lead. When life feels empty, energy drains, and disease fills the space. The beauty of Ikigai is that it can be found anywhere. It doesn't depend on wealth, education, or youth. It might be as simple as caring for a plant, learning a song, or calling a friend. What matters is attention. The same awareness that guides Japanese elders in their diet and movement also guides them emotionally. Each moment of purpose sends a calming message to the nervous system. You are still part of life's flow. For seniors seeking to emulate this wisdom, the first step is curiosity. Ask what still brings joy or comfort, no matter how small. Then make it a ritual. Repetition turns intention into stability, and stability nourishes the heart. In the grand equation of longevity, purpose is the invisible nutrient that sustains all others. It anchors the spirit, harmonizes the body, and makes every health habit worth maintaining. And as we arrive at the final reflections, we'll weave all these threads: salt, movement, connection, nourishment, awareness, moderation, and purpose into one complete vision of how to live beyond 65 with strength, clarity, and grace. Looking back across the lessons from Japan's centenarians, a clear pattern emerges. Longevity is not a mystery but a mindset. Each daily choice, what to eat, how to move, when to rest, and why to wake up, shapes the health of the heart and brain. Stroke after 65 is not merely a medical fate. It is often the sum of unnoticed habits repeated over years. The Japanese have proven that by rethinking these habits, it's possible not only to extend life, but to enrich it. The first key was awareness of hidden salt, the invisible enemy behind hypertension. By reducing sodium and embracing natural flavors, Japanese elders turned their meals into protection for their arteries. Next came movement, not as a workout, but as a way of living. Cleaning, walking, gardening, small acts that keep blood flowing freely. Then came connection, the antidote to loneliness, through moai, the lifelong circles of friendship that guard emotional and physical health. Food itself became medicine through the traditional Japanese diet, light, colorful, and rich in fish, soy, and vegetables. Combined with vigilance, regular blood pressure checks, and conscious monitoring, it forms a shield against one of aging's deadliest conditions. Add to that the mindful restraint of Hara Hachi Bu, eating until 80% full, and the wisdom of Ikigai, finding daily purpose, and we arrive at a complete system of living that sustains both body and spirit. What makes these habits so powerful is their simplicity. None require wealth, special equipment, or extreme discipline. They thrive on awareness, noticing the flavor of food, the rhythm of movement, the warmth of conversation, the calm of purpose. For Japanese centenarians, these aren't health tips. They are the foundation of ordinary life. Their strength comes from consistency, not intensity. For anyone over 65, the message is empowering. The future of your health is still in your hands. You can start today by seasoning food with herbs instead of salt, standing up more often, calling a friend, or finding one small reason to smile each morning. Each act may seem small, but together they create momentum that can transform your entire well-being. The Japanese model teaches that prevention is not an event, but a culture, a quiet discipline practiced over decades. It honors balance instead of excess, community instead of isolation, and mindfulness instead of neglect. And while medicine can treat disease, only daily choices can build resilience. So take these lessons not as distant traditions but as living guidance. The path to a strong heart and a clear mind doesn't lie in perfection, but in presence, in being fully aware of the life that flows through each breath, each meal, each conversation. The centenarians of Japan have already shown the way. Now the journey is yours to begin.